Manager as well as Senior Specialist at Eviden. So I'm a Microsoft Certified Trainer as well as a C# Corner MVP. And I'm a global speaker for the Azure as well as artificial intelligence with respect to Microsoft Azure. So I used to write different types of blogs as well as I'm mentoring people on the Microsoft AI technologies. So currently I'm holding 15 multi-cloud certifications. So this is about me. So today's actual agenda of today's session is, this is my few achievements on terms of certifications. And so this is an actual agenda today. So today's agenda is on the introduction part and how the AI landscape has been evolved and what is the purpose of this large language model as well as Microsoft AI portfolio, and we will discuss about the Gen AI models and the respective family, and finally we'll discuss on the area responsible AI. The first one, we'll talk about the artificial intelligence landscape. If you notice the landscape, we have four major pillars: artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and the last one is which is a generative AI platform. If you notice the artificial intelligence, which is a sub-branch of computer science, where you'll be able to mimic the future behavior, or where you'll be able to mimic the human intelligence, we can call that branch as artificial intelligence. And inside the artificial intelligence, we have a subset of artificial intelligence, which is a machine learning, where we use to train multiple models explicitly based upon some algorithms, which is called as machine learning. And in the deep learning section, which is a subset of your machine learning, where we used to train neurons as well as your TensorFlow models in terms of your artificial neural network or recurrence neural network. The latest trending in the market in the recent days was the generative AI. The generative AI, which is a subset of deep learning models, where we are able to produce lot of content related to text, audio, video, or it could be of any form, which is the Gen AI platform. So let's see the rise of this large language model. If you notice the rise of this large language model, you can notice there are different types of input sources we can provide for the large language model. It could be a text, it could be an image, it could be an audio, it could be a video. Different source of data we can provide input to a large language model. It will operate different types of the adaptation models, like you are able to do question and answering, you can perform the sentiment analysis, as well as you'll able to extract data from multiple sources. You can caption your images, whether it is a dense captioning or it is your usual captioning in terms of images. You'll able to recognize object in terms of object detection as well as image classification. These are the several tasks where your large language model has been done. And if you notice, this large language model has been trained a vast amount of data. When I say vast amount of data, there will be two versions to it. One is your GPT-3, the other one is GPT-4. GPT-3 was trained with 175 billion parameters, as well as your GPT-4 model has been trained your 170 trillion parameters. From your existing internet data, it could be any type of media data where your large language model has been existence. And this large language model will able to operate on different forms, like it is a deep learning model where you'll able to understand different format of natural language processing, natural language understanding in terms of text summarization. You can summarize your text. You may able to generate a lot of images from the DALL-E model. You can translate your text into different languages in terms of language translation, and you may able to give your prompt as a text, and it is producing different types of code generation model in terms of codecs. So these are the major functionality where this large language model has been existed in your Gen AI model. And we will see in detail in terms of the hands-on how this capabilities will able to build as part of this Azure OpenAI forum. The rise of large language model, when I say the rise of large language model, we have different types of chatbot or the virtual assistant exist in the market like ChatGPT, where GPT-3 was trained with 175 billion parameters and GPT-4 was trained with your 170 trillion parameters. There are other providers also available in the market. You can see those infographics information on this particular slide. So this large language model able to operate in terms of GPT-3, only the prompt will be the text. The response could be a text or it could be an image. But when you go for large multi-modal, which is LMM, you may able to provide different types of prompt. It could be a text form, or it could be an audio form, or it could be a video form. You may able to summarize in terms of video summarization, text summarization. These are the capabilities which are exist as part of this large multi-model as concerned. And you can notice GPT-3 able to accept the prompt in terms of text, and the output could be in the form of a text, or it could be in the form of the image as a GPT-3 model. And GPT-4 model, if you notice, the prompt could be your text, but the output could be an audio, the output could be a text, or it could be image, or it could be a video. Multiple form your GPT-4, it is providing the response in terms of your large multi-model as concerned. So this is a Microsoft AI portfolio. If you keenly notice, the first layer which we talk about, the business, citizen, professionals, business users, you may have different types of applications: Microsoft 365, Microsoft Dynamic 365, Microsoft Bing, Edge, Windows, and your Xbox gaming software. These are the applications which sits on the top of the business users or the citizens, professionals. And in the Power Platform, we will able to build capabilities around Power BI, Power Apps, your Power Automate, as well as Power Virtual Agents. But as part of your Microsoft Azure AI is concerned, now OpenAI service will be added as part of this Microsoft Azure Cognitive Services. You may able to notice in your box with this Azure OpenAI service. No more Azure OpenAI service. Earlier days, Azure OpenAI service is not a part of this Microsoft artificial intelligence ecosystem. Now, the Microsoft Azure OpenAI is now a part of your AI portfolio. So these are the generative AI models. See, the OpenAI along with your Microsoft, they have integrated together and build the power of the Gen AI capability. Okay. And if you notice, the OpenAI major motto is they are going to build a model which benefits the entire humanity. That is the motto behind your OpenAI forum. And Microsoft's major motto, which is going to empower and as well as empower each and every person and the organization to use your GenAI capabilities to achieve more with less number of features, which is the Microsoft motto behind the successful usage of GenAI capability. So under Gen AI capability, we have different types of model exist. DALI, this is going to generate and it is going to understand the prompt in terms of text, and it is going to convert in terms of image form. And the Codex is going to generate and understand the text, and it is going to be converted into code form. And your Chat GPT, it is going to understand the prompt, and it is proper and it is possible to produce different types of human-based conversations. GPT 3.5 and GPT 4, it is going to understand and it is going to generate the text generation model. So we will see this generative AI model in real time. So what I'm going to do, let me show the Microsoft Azure OpenAI in the portal. So we are going to create a Azure OpenAI service. So I'm going to create an Azure OpenAI. Just click this, hit the button create. So any Microsoft Azure OpenAI service you want to create, first of all, we need a valid subscription. So once you have chosen the subscription, you have to create a resource group for that. So I'm having the already existing resource group called as test Azure. I'm using the existing resource group. Or else you may able to create a new resource group as well. And you can choose any one of the region in order to deploy this Azure OpenAI service. So I'm choosing East US region. And we have to provide the Azure OpenAI service resource name. So I'm providing the resource name as card OpenAI. This is my service resource name I have given. So usually any resource in Microsoft Azure, there will be two tiers. One is a free pricing tier, the other one is standard pricing tier. And this pricing tier will not have anything called as free pricing tier. We have only the standard pricing tier. So choose the option standard pricing tier. And remember, the Microsoft Azure OpenAI follows the policies of this responsible AI as well as the ethical AI content moderation policy. So we were accepting all the content review policy as part of the code of conduct. Next, next, next. You can see the validation is successfully passed. In a minute or two, this is going to become a successful deployment. So once it is passed, just hit the button create. You can notice the deployment started progressing. And then in a minute or two, this will become successful. So meanwhile, you can type your questions on the chat so that I will answer accordingly. I hope my Azure OpenAI portal is visible for everyone. You can provide me on the chat confirmation.
Yes.
Are you guys able to see this? Okay. So now you can see the information, the deployment has succeeded. Just go to the resource. You can notice the option called as deploy button. There is a button called as explore. Click explore. So there is a Microsoft Azure OpenAI Studio playground. You can see different types of capabilities built around. Okay. So there is a question, is it possible to connect Jupyter Notebook along with that Azure platform? Answer is yes. You should have a valid Azure subscription. You have to provide the subscription ID and you should have the Azure OpenAI access. You need to take the key information and the endpoint information from the Microsoft Azure portal and you'll able to connect inside your Jupyter Notebook as well. There is no editor restriction. So there are four types of playgrounds available. One is your chat playground, which is related to a chat GPT playground, and your GPT-3, which is related to a text playground. And you may able to bring your own data to chat GPT as well. And daily playground, which is nothing but the image generation playground. The first we will discuss about the daily playground. The daily playground says that you can give the input in the form of a text and it is going to generate the response in the form of image. Just click this option and you can notice this daily playground, it is still in preview mode. Okay. And as of now, this daily playground is available in the regions, four regions like East US and Central Europe. So let's click this option, daily playground now. So in the daily program, what I'm going to perform, so I'm going to take a text. Let's consider this as a text. So there's a prompt I have given. What is the prompt I have given is an astronaut wearing a gold jumpsuit and a helmet on moon. So this is the prompt I have given. Let's hit the button generate. You can see even we have given the prompt, and if I hit the button generate, it is going to generate a prompt based your conversion of images. This image is no more Google images involved. Okay. So see, you can notice that. So any service, whenever you click inside the DALI playground, you should have a proper key, or else you should have a proper endpoint. Okay. So any services you deployed, you have to wait for a 5 minutes time so that your deployment will be successful. Else you will be getting the information. You may have an active subscription or not. So this error you will be getting. So what I will do, I have already created one service. Let me use that service. And more even the DALI part is available still in the preview mode. It is not general available. You can see the result. An astronaut wearing a gold jumpsuit and helmet on the Mars. So the corresponding result has been generated. So there are different options you can notice here. Either you can copy the prompt. If you are not satisfied with this corresponding image generation, you may able to regenerate a new image as well. You can click a new image to regenerate it. The other functionalities you can see, you can download the image, as well as you may able to delete the image prompt, and you may able to you can plug this particular code in your respective API as well. So in this case, you need only two information. One is your OpenAI key. The second one is your endpoint. So where you'll able to find the Azure OpenAI key and endpoint. Just go to the Azure OpenAI service. In the Azure OpenAI service, you can notice there is a keys and endpoint information. So here only you have to take either any one of the key, and you have to copy paste the endpoint of this particular resource. Once you are done, you can plug those options, two options here, and you can see this is a prompt and size I have given as to 1024, 1024. N is called as number of images to be generated. When n is equal to 1, it is nothing but only one image to be generated, and you will be getting the response in the form of URL. Okay. That URL, if you paste it in that new web browser, you may able to download the image. Okay. This is how you used to play with your code. This code, no need to type it. The moment you type the prompt, the code will be automatically generated. Only the two information you need to provide is the key and the endpoint. So this is related to your DALI playground. The next one we will move on to with the playground is called as your Codex playground. So when I say Codex playground, whatever the prompt you are typing in terms of text, it is going to convert in the form of code. So under this Codex platform or code generation platform, so we have different types of capabilities present. Okay. So before we start in terms of capabilities, we have to create a deployment first. Okay. So how will you create a deployment? Just hit the button, create deployment, and you can choose any of the model. So these are the base model. The earlier versions of Azure OpenAI has different types of model and model family, like Codex model, your GPT model, text model, DaVinci model. So almost close to 8 models available. So after the updation of Azure OpenAI, now we have only 3 base models available. So what are the earlier existing models available as part of the Azure OpenAI? These are the previous model as part of the Azure OpenAI as well as the respective family. So in terms of GPT-3 model, the text generation, you have Ada, Babbage, your Curie, DaVinci. These are the 4 models. So out of these four models in terms of text generation, DaVinci is the best model, and it is producing the accuracy score in terms of the response wise, it is more precise. Similarly, in the codex, we have Hushman and DaVinci, and even in the codex also, DaVinci is the best model. So now all these models are eliminated as part of the new version. In the new version, we have only your GPT Turbo 3.6 and GPT Turbo 3.5K, and you are having the text ADA similarity. So Microsoft has provided recommendation out of the GPT-3 model and Codex model. DaVinci is going to produce the best accuracy score as the best precise result in terms of picking the right model. So all these models in the current scenario of Azure OpenAI become obsolete. So we will not use this obsolete models. You can see in the base model, there are three models available: GPT 3.5 Turbo, GPT 3.5 Turbo 16K, and text embedding ADA. So these three are the base model currently available. So I'm using GPT 3.5 Turbo, and we have to provide the deployment. So I'm providing the deployment name as retail deployment. I have created the deployment now. And you can notice there is something called as content filter is available. When I say content filter, you cannot give any abusive content. The content will be moderated in terms of text, in terms of images as well. So this particular content filter, it is still available in the preview mode. So we are expecting by the month of October, this will become a general available. So as of now, we created the deployment, retail deployment. Just go to the completion playground. In the completion playground, you can see the deployment name is retail deployment. So as part of the code generation, we will be seeing three important capabilities. One is natural language to SQL, natural language to Python, explain SQL query. These three functionalities we are going to discuss. The first one is natural language to SQL. In terms of this natural language to SQL, consider your developer didn't know about anything on the PostgreSQL, but there is a use case saying that I have to build a prompt saying that I will be using the PostgreSQL and this is a table name and the respective columns. Look at the prompt here. A query to list the name of the department which employed more than 10 employees in the last 3 months. So I'm a prompt engineer. I don't know how to write Postgres SQL code for this particular use case. The moment you give the prompt like this and hit the generate button, you can get the result. So you can notice that any API deployment for this resource does not exist because I have created that retail deployment. So I have to wait for 5 minutes. Then only I'm able to perform the code generation or any of the model as concerned. So we will wait for some times so that by the time the functionality of the code will be ready. So what is the usage of this natural language to SQL? You're providing the prompt in terms of English and it is converting those prompt to an SQL language. That is one of the functionality. Similarly, you are providing the prompt in English and you are going to convert into a Python code, which is your natural language to Python. My manager has provided me one complex query, but I don't know how to explain to my peers. So in that case, you can use the capability called as explain SQL query. So these three functionalities which are related to your codex model. You can notice there is a model called codex model. The codex model, once you provided the prompt in terms of your English, it is giving the response in the SQL prompt. So similarly, GPT 3.5, GPT 4, if you ask some tagline and it is the text in the form of a prompt and the response is also a text, similar to your chat GPT as well. But in chat GPT, you provide a text-based prompt and you will get the conversation-based types of responses. So these four are clubbed together as part of one umbrella or one landscape called the Gen AI landscape. So what are the offerings this Azure OpenAI service actually offers? One is the content generation, summarization, code generation, and semantic search. So we spoke about the content generation just now. In terms of summarization, consider you want to summarize a huge lengthy document for the customer conversation related document, I have the conversation from the customer side as well as agent side. Is there any capability to summarize this model? Yes, we have a capability to summarize the model as well. Similarly, you can summarize the financial based reports, financial based documents, or any type of article you want to summarize. Your summarization is one of the best feature. And along with the Vision AI Studio and LLM, you will able to summarize the video as well. That is in terms of your summarization related to video. So when you go for summarization related to video, you will be using the service called as a Vision Studio. So I have to create a service called as Vision Computer Vision. So let me create a computer vision service. So which means LLM can be integrated with the computer vision service to summarize the video summarization as well. So I'm using the existing resource group and I have to provide that computer vision name. So I'm providing the computer vision name now. So after this, you have to choose the pricing tier. I'm choosing standard pricing tier and hit the button review plus create. Something missed. Let's check it out. I have to adhere to the policy of the responsible AI guideline as well as ethical AI guideline. I have to check this checkbox and review plus create. Now we have created the computer vision. Now in a minute or two, this becomes successful. So what is my intent is you may able to summarize the video as well with the LLM plus your computer vision integration. It is possible. So that is my actual intent to demonstrate the vision LLM plus your Azure OpenAI service. So parallelly, what I will do. So this is the one we are talking about, right? So we have different types of playground. We spoke about it. And this Azure OpenAI Playground follows the responsible AI guideline. So there's a responsible AI guideline. We have to include all type of people. We should not exclude any people as part of the inclusiveness as concern. And the system and the solutions, whatever we will build, which will be secure and it is present within the tenant so that any intruders will be able to hack this particular system. Answer is not possible. And there should not be no bias. So everyone, it will be treated equally in terms of fairness. And whatever the application and systems you develop in terms of safety wise it is concerned, it is more safety and more secure and it is more reliable system. And the complete flow in terms of building that transparency, the transparency, all your documents will be transparent enough so that you may be able to bring your own data to ChatGPT as well. That is in terms of transparency. And the entire team is accountable for building the responsible AI solution. That is in terms of accountability as well. So you have to follow all the principles and guidelines of this responsible AI as well as ethical AI is concerned. Can you please talk about the private version of Azure OpenAI? There is nothing called as private version of Azure OpenAI. Azure OpenAI is not available for everyone until unless if you submitted the Azure OpenAI access. Okay. So I'll explain the Azure OpenAI access. The Azure OpenAI access is not given for everyone. You have to send for the request form. So let me explain the request form, what you are supposed to send it. So this is a registration form of Azure OpenAI. So you have to, in which the data is not run by OpenAI. So Azure OpenAI is not related to OpenAI. Okay, Azure OpenAI is completely safe and secure because we use that keys and endpoint, and any keys and endpoint in the Azure OpenAI which is present inside the tenant will be available for 45 days. After 45 days, if you want to extend, you can extend it. That is in terms of private open data is concerned, and that data being trained by Azure OpenAI, it is trustworthy and it is safe and secure as part of the Azure OpenAI as well as responsible AI guideline is concerned. Your first name, last name, you can provide it, and you have to choose your subscription ID and then your company name and company email ID. Don't put any Gmail ID, Hotmail ID. You have to put your company email ID to get that Azure OpenAI access. And one important information is you have to you should not choose all the services. You have to choose only the first services. If you choose both the checkboxes, your application will be denied. So choose only first checkbox, and because it is still the DALI is still in the preview mode. Once you are onboarded to the Azure OpenAI service application, afterwards you onboarded for the first model, then again refill the application for the second model. So within 48 hours, your Azure OpenAI service you will get access. And this Azure OpenAI service is not free for everyone until unless if you have a valid Azure subscription, and you have to request for Azure OpenAI subscription. So that is one side. So I have completed the computer vision service created. Just go to the resource. Once you go to the resource, just a second, you can see something called as Vision Studio. Go to the Vision Studio. You have to sync with your Azure account. I have already synced it. Once the account has been synced, you can see I have to choose for the resource, choose a subscription. Choose a subscription, choose a resource group. Your resource group should be test RG, right? It has to reflect for some time. I was talking about this service only. So this is a whole video. Okay, what I'm trying to do is this is an LLM offered video. And in this video, if you notice that I want to extract for a particular time frame what has happened. Okay. So in order to do this, there are multiple ways to do this. What are the ways we can do it? Either you can summarize the full video. I want to summarize the full video. You can summarize it. You can notice that the complete video has been summarized. So video summarization LLM along with the Vision Studio is possible. The next one functionality you can see, I want to locate a specific query. Example, a person with a laptop. What has happened within that particular time frame? You can check that particular time frame alone. In this time frame, you can see a person with a laptop. Similarly, I want to see a specific query, person with a ladder. So I can run the specific time frame, what is happening in the entire video. So that functionality is more easy when you go for summarizing any type of video summarization along with the Azure OpenAI Studio. This is one of the best feature. So let's see the code generation model. I think it is more than 5 minutes. Let's see, we'll able to deploy the service. Yes. Let's see the natural language to SQL. Yeah. Now you may able to see the code has been generated and it is converting your natural language prompt into an SQL code. This is for the codex model. What is the second feature? I said natural language to Python. Okay. So you're given the prompt in English language. And what is the prompt I given is write a Python function to reverse a string. And function should have an optimal solution in terms of time and space complexity. This is my prompt. And second prompt what I have given is this is my input function ABCD123. And I was expecting the output is 321 CDBA. So all these prompts we are given a specific format. So I was expecting answer for the input. This is an input and this is an output. So you are given the prompt correctly and you're given the prompt is concise and precise. Let's see the expected result. So this is a way to optimize as well as to provide AI assistance while using the code generation model as concern. Okay. So these two are the capabilities related to code generation model. The one more capability is explain an SQL query. Okay. So I'm having a lengthy complex query, but I don't know how to explain to my peers. Okay. You can make use of the functionality to get it. When you hit the button generate, you can see the entire explanation for this complete SQL query. It is generating now. So this is the explanation about that particular query. And you can see there is one more question has been generated. This is called as, uh, this functionality is called as your providing a recommended suggestions to that. That is your AI code assistant. If you don't want this, again, you regenerate this query. It will not generate. So there is a question, what is the difference between GitHub Copilot and about this code generation? Code generation is restricted for only the less number of languages. Your GitHub Copilot is completely different. That is AI pair programming. Okay. And it provides a lot of suggestions for one particular prompt. It is providing almost 10 suggestions. That is your GitHub Copilot versus your code generation. And GitHub Copilot, it is offered in multiple editors, supported multiple languages supported, and that purpose is completely different. And this code generation is only related to SQL and to Python, not for the all languages. Okay. So let's move on to the text summarization. So as I told earlier, I'm having a conversation between my client and the agent. Let's consider your Microsoft team conversation. I want to identify what is my root cause of this particular problem, or what is the root cause of the particular conversation between the user and the agent. I need to generate a summary report says that what is the outcome of the problem, what is the problem statement, what are the action items I have to consider. For all these scenarios, this tool gives you the best capability option because it is able to highlight the problem, the outcome of the problem, and the action items to be followed. So this is a conversation happened between the user and the agent. The user is going to have a travel to San Francisco in the August 25 and September 11. And the agent is suggested these are the places like Mexico, Italy, Japan. And what is the customer problem? What is the outcome of this conversation? All those detailed template, if I want to generate a summary, you can use this tool. So text summarization is easy to do this, as well as your video summarization is possible with the help of your LLM tool along with the Vision Studio. So this is one stuff. It is generating now. The other stuff is you can generate a financial summary based upon the financial report also. That is also possible when you go for the text generation model. If you want to summarize the financial key points from the respective report, I want to highlight what are the key internal risks, key external risks, what are the external factors, and what are the financial numbers from this report. Is it possible to generate it? Yes. Suppose your CEO of your organization is announcing a town hall, and your town hall, due to some health issues, you're not able to attend the town hall, and that recorded session you are watching. But I don't have enough time to watch my recording session also. So you can put that video in the LLM Vision Studio. If you get that video summarization, it is providing the entire summary of the video rather than watching. So that type of capability you may be able to build when you go for your GPT-3 playground. Similarly, you may be able to generate email from your given scenario. So that is also possible in your GPT-3 playground. I want to generate an email. Okay, let's consider one scenario. So write a product launch email for my new powered headphone company. So what is the AI powered headphone has going to charge $79. And this particular product is available in Best Buy, Target, and Amazon. The target audience is tech savvy, music lovers. So what will be the subject line of the email and what will be the body of the email? Okay. I want to get those detailed information. You want to give a scenario and you are given that prompt, body of the email and subject line of email. This is also one of the best feature to generate an email from the given scenario. I think it is providing a wrong response. So what I will do, again, I will regenerate the responses. So this was a question. It is given from my past history. It is taken. So what I will do, I will regenerate it. Okay, I'll regenerate again. So you can see dear music lover, that is the body of the email. And this is the subject line of the email is meet our latest AI powered headphone at just $79. That's the head subject line, and this is the body of the email. Okay. So we got the complete body of the email. Along with that, we got some more suggestions also. If you want, you can include it. Unless if you don't want that, you can exclude this. Next, we'll move on to the chat playground, the chat GPT playground. So for chat GPT playground, you have to create one more deployment. Chat GPT. So this is chat GPT playground, which is offered by your Microsoft Azure OpenAI. So I'm asking a question. Hi. It is provided a response. Write a tagline. The tagline for pizza shop. This is my question. Let's see the response. So we got the response. Every slice is a perfect slice at our pizza shop. Then I'm asking one question. How to cut my how to chop my body parts. So I'm writing one unethical prompt, and this prompt we will not get any response. It will be moderated because it is a self-harmed content and it is moderated by the Azure OpenAI. Okay. So that is with respect to Content Safety Studio. Similarly, I'm asking question, what is the address of the famous Tamil hero Kamal? So I'm asking one PII information. So they will not provide any personal identifiable information that will be restricted. So let's go back to our slide. So these are the top announcement of the Azure OpenAI. Like the Bing chat is also provided for the Azure OpenAI response, and Meta has also introduced Llama 2. And you can notice IIT Madras opens a Center for Responsible AI, as well as the White House calls rollout to promote the ethical AI also. And the Pope Francis and Vatican City just created the AI Bible. And the Indian AI anchor women, which is Lisa, was introduced to host the complete newsreader show in Odisha TV. So these are the top announcements related to the AI industry. And what is my end notice? Your skills are irreplaceable. Whatever the new technologies comes like your GenAI, ChatGPT, DALI, GPT model, any new AI assisted tool technology comes in the market, your skills are irreplaceable. So that's my end note. And thank you so much. This is my LinkedIn handle. If anything related to Azure, artificial intelligence and GenAI and prompt engineering, you can feel free to connect me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to help you in terms of the Microsoft Azure certification as well.
So that's a good session by Jonathan. Now participants, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. I think one question is there in the chat. How do you compare the code generation models here to GitHub Copilot? That's what.
GitHub Copilot is provided multiple languages in terms of generation, not only Python language. And your code generation codex here is restricted to Python language alone, not more than number of languages.
So again, participants, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. So I think it is time to wind up. Hope participants, you enjoyed the session and the certificate.
Okay, there is one question. How to create
Yeah,
your
one
own LLM without using any Azure tools? Okay. So you can use the LangChain as one of the framework to create your own LLM. LangChain, you can use it. You can use Vector DB like Pinecone DB to create your own LLM.
Yeah. So participants, you will be getting your certificate, the link to download the certificate and the speaker code for downloading the certificate in your respective registered email ID. So we will
There
be
is one
sharing the
more
details.
question. How to improve the prompt skills in AI generation? Okay. If you want to improve the prompt skill in AI generation, so we have different types of in-context learning like zero shot, few shot, one shot learning, as well as the chain of thoughts. With the help of that, you'll be able to improvise your prompt skills. And how to use agents in a better way with the help of your system roles, as well as with the help of your customized roles, you can use the agents in a better way.
So any more questions, participants?
Okay, I think they're asking what is the max token of the Azure OpenAI, which is 2048 tokens.
Yeah, any more questions? So I hope we can wind up the session. Again, Jenna, it is on behalf of Multicloud for you. We like to thank you for delivering an excellent session on OpenAI. Almost you have covered all the topics in OpenAI, and we know that there is what behind the scene you may have done many jobs for this. Yes, okay. On behalf of Multicloud for you, we like to thank you for delivering an excellent session on Azure OpenAI. And participants, we like to thank you for participating in this particular data Sunday session by Multicloud for you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gavaskar, for providing the fantastic platform to present me. Thank you so much.